On the night of 5th December, the full moon rises not just as a symbol in the sky, but as a clear reminder of what you have been avoiding within yourself. This moon does not shine to decorate the darkness. It shines to expose what you can no longer hide. When you stand beneath it, you can feel that something inside you is shifting, stretching, waking up. It is as if the light is trying to say, look closely. This is who you truly are. The 5th of December becomes a moment where the world around you slows down just enough for you to hear your own truth that you might have ignored for months or even years. Every person carries questions within themselves about purpose, direction, potential. But on this night, these questions stop being whispers and become reflection. The full moon works like a mirror, not one that reflects your face, but one that reveals your inner nature. On 5th December, this mirror becomes impossible to avoid. When you look at it, it shows the parts of yourself that you have overlooked, the discipline you did to use, the strength you doubted, the dreams you postponed, the courage you kept saving for someday. This is the night that tells you someday is now. The light of the 5th December moon does not tell you who you should be. It shows you who you already are beneath the noise. It uncovers the qualities that have been buried under fear or self-doubt. Many people wait for an external sign to confirm their path, but this moon reminds you that the confirmation is already inside you. The clarity you seek does not come from outside. The moon only gives you the stillness to finally see it. The energy of this night pushes you to acknowledge your true self without excuses or hesitation. You begin noticing the habits that no longer support your growth, the attachments that keep you in circles, the emotions that you have been carrying but never releasing. The 5th December moon forces you to face them without running, because if you run now, you run from your own possibility. Growth demands honesty. Self-mastery demands exposure. And this night exposes everything that has been holding you back from your next level. There is something powerful about this timing. The year is approaching its end, and the moon's brightness feels like a spotlight on your unfinished lessons. It calls you to reflect not in a soft or gentle way, but in a direct, undeniable way. The 5th December moon does not wait. It does not soften the truth. It reveals it with sharpness. It tells you that if your life has felt misaligned, it is because you have not been listening to the deeper wisdom inside you. The clarity you search for has always been present. You just needed a night like this to bring it forward. As you observe yourself under this moon, you may feel discomfort. That is good. Discomfort means the truth is touching the places you've left untouched. It means transformation is beginning. This night shows you the gap between who you are and who you are meant to become. And once you see that gap clearly, you can no longer pretend it does not exist. This is the beginning of real change, the moment when you confront your own reflection without turning away. On 5th December, the full moon teaches one powerful lesson. Self-growth begins when you stop fearing your own potential. Many fear failure, but even more fear greatness, because greatness demands responsibility, discipline, and consistency. The moon shows you that these qualities were never outside your reach. They were just hidden beneath layers of hesitation. This night strips away those layers and leaves you with truth. You are capable of far more than you have allowed yourself to believe. And when this truth becomes clear, something inside you shifts. You begin to understand that destiny is not something waiting in the future. Destiny is the combination of the choices you make today, the habits you follow, and the strength you cultivate. The 5th December moon highlights the exact point where your old patterns end and your new life begins. It is a threshold moment, a moment where you step from who you have been into who you are meant to be. The brightness of this night awakens your inner discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It is the force that takes your dreams and turns them into something real. The moon reminds you that you do not rise by wishing, you rise by choosing, you rise by acting, you rise by mastering yourself. On this night, excuses lose their power and truth becomes unavoidable. You see your potential clearly, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The most important transformation on 5th December is internal. It is the moment where you stop waiting for permission to grow. You realize that destiny is not given, it is created. You begin to recognize that everything you desire, clarity, purpose, confidence already lives within you, waiting for you to awaken it. The moon simply gives you the courage to finally acknowledge it. This night becomes a turning point, not because something mystical happened, but because you become honest enough to face your real self. Under the full moon of 5th December, truth becomes light, and with that light, you see your own destiny illuminated not in the distance, but right in front of you. On the night of 5th December, the full moon does more than shine, it exposes what you have been carrying for far too long. It brings light to the blocks you pretend not to see, the habits that drain your strength, the emotions you bury because facing them feels uncomfortable. But growth never comes from comfort. This night pushes you to release everything that keeps you from rising. It is a moment where life demands honesty, not polite honesty, but the kind that cuts through your excuses and shows you the real price of holding on to what slows you down. Every person carries something unnecessary, a thought that repeats in the mind, a memory that still shapes their behavior, a fear that keeps them small, a habit that wastes energy, a person who no longer belongs in their story. On 5th December, these things become loud. They do not whisper, they confront you. The moon exposes them because you cannot walk into your next chapter while carrying the weight of your past chapters. Something must be released if something greater is to enter. The truth is simple. You cannot rise while holding on to what pulls you down. The full moon of 5th December teaches this with clarity. When you look at your life, you know exactly what has been limiting you. You do not need anyone to tell you. You feel it. You sense it. You have seen it repeating in cycles. But this night breaks the cycle by showing you that the block is not outside, it is within your own choices. And if it is within you, then you also have the power to remove it. Releasing is not weakness. It is strength. It takes courage to let go of something familiar, even when it hurts you. The mind prefers what it knows, not what is good for you. On 5th December, the moon challenges discomfort. It pushes you to choose growth over familiarity, to choose evolution over repetition, to choose clarity over confusion. This is the moment where you stop lying to yourself about why you are stuck. You are not stuck because the world is against you. You are stuck because you still cling to the very things you claim you want to escape. The 5th December moon brings a brutal but liberating truth. You cannot transform while holding on to your old identity. You must release the version of yourself that survived, so you can become the version that will thrive. This is the path of self-mastery. Think about what weighs on your spirit, the grudges you carry, the expectations you place on yourself, the opinions of others that shaped your decisions, the doubts that interrupt your action. These are chains, and sometimes you become so used to them that you forget you are chained. But on 5th December, the full moon feels like a key one that unlocks the awareness needed to finally break free. There is a reason why this specific night holds such intensity. It arrives at a time when you are closing the year, reflecting consciously or unconsciously. The moon amplifies this reflection. It sharpens your vision. You begin to see the difference between what is essential and what is unnecessary. You begin to understand that letting go is not losing. Letting go is clearing space. Clearing space for clarity. Clearing space for peace. Clearing space for your destiny. The key to releasing is acceptance. Acceptance that some paths have served their purpose. Acceptance that some behaviors are no longer aligned with who you are becoming. Acceptance that some emotions have been carried for too long. When you accept this truth, the block loses its power. What once felt heavy becomes lighter, and what was once confusing becomes simple. It is time to move forward. The 5th December moon teaches that releasing does not mean erasing your past. It means choosing not to let it control your future. It means learning the lesson and freeing the weight. The moment you release, you create space for new discipline, new focus, and new possibilities. This is how miracles begin, not through magic, but through clarity and courage. When you remove what blocks you, your energy rises, your decisions sharpen, your intuition strengthens. You begin acting from your higher self instead of your wounded self. And this is where your destiny starts to unfold. Not from pushing harder, but from being lighter. Not from forcing change, but from removing what resists it. On 5th December, the full moon asks you one thing. Stop holding on to what you have already outgrown. The longer you hold on, the more you slow down your own progress. Release the frustration, and discipline replaces it. Release the fear, and courage takes its place. release the self-doubt, and confidence begins to grow. Life always fills the space you create. When you let go of what blocks you, you step into a version of yourself that you have been trying to reach for years. This is the transformation the 5th December moon brings. It is not gentle, but it is necessary. It forces you to see that the doorway to your next level has always been open. You just couldn't walk through it with everything you were carrying. Tonight becomes the moment you finally drop the weight. Tonight becomes the moment you step forward without hesitation. Tonight becomes the moment you align with your true path. The power of 5th December is simple. Release what no longer serves you, and your destiny begins to reveal itself. On the night of 5th December, something powerful awakens inside those who are ready to rise. The full moon does not just illuminate the sky. It awakens the hidden abilities that have been asleep within you. These are not random qualities. These are the traits that separate the ones who drift through life from the ones who consciously shape it. When the world becomes quiet under the moonlight of 5th December, your inner nature becomes louder. You begin to feel a strength that has always been there, waiting for the right moment to be remembered. Every person carries certain qualities that define their path: discipline, clarity, intuition, resilience. But most people only use a fraction of these abilities. They move through life reacting instead of acting, hoping instead of committing, fearing instead of trusting themselves. The full moon of 5th December interrupts this sleep. It awakens the chosen qualities within you, not because the sky changes, but because on this night, your awareness sharpens. You start seeing yourself without the filters of doubt or hesitation. On 5th December, discipline rises first. Discipline is not strictness. It is self-respect. It is the power to tell yourself the truth and act on it. Under this moon, you feel the difference between desire and commitment. You understand that the destiny you want will not come from wishes, it will come from daily actions. The moon sharpens your focus and reminds you that every decision you make builds your future. This night teaches that greatness is not created in one big moment, but in small, consistent choices that no one else sees. Next comes clarity. On most days, your mind is filled with noise, opinions, fears, distractions, assumptions. But the energy of 5th December cuts through the noise like a blade. You begin to see what truly matters. You see which directions lead to growth and which directions lead to repetition. You understand which people lift you and which ones drain you. You recognize which habits move you forward and which ones bury your potential. Clarity is not just seeing the path. It is also seeing what does not belong on that path. This moon gives you that vision. Then intuition awakens. Intuition is the quiet guide inside you that has always known the way. But in daily life, it gets overshadowed by overthinking. On 5th December, intuition becomes louder than doubt. You begin to feel what decisions align with your true self. You sense when something is right or wrong without needing endless analysis. This intuitive strength is part of the chosen one nature, not because it's mystical, but because it comes from finally trusting yourself. When intuition awakens, your steps become more confident and less fearful. Resilience rises next. Resilience is what keeps you moving when life tests you. It comes from the understanding that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. On 5th December, you begin to see that the challenges you faced were not meant to break you but to shape you. Every hardship carved strength into your character. Every struggle sharpened your perspective. The moonlight reveals that you are not fragile. You are forged. This realization alone changes the way you carry yourself. All these traits, discipline, clarity, intuition, resilience, are awakened together because they form the foundation of your next level. They are the qualities of someone who does not fear growth. Someone who does not shrink from truth. Someone who does not wait for life to approve their path. The 5th December moon activates these inner abilities because the time has come for you to step into a higher identity, an identity that is not shaped by your past, but by your potential. On this night, you feel a shift, a quiet but powerful understanding that you are capable of more than you have shown. The chosen one energy does not mean you are above others. It means you have reached a point where your awareness is ready. You are ready to take responsibility for your own evolution. You are ready to stop running from the parts of yourself that require discipline and truth. You are ready to embrace the qualities that make transformation possible. The moon of 5th December teaches that these traits were never missing, they were only asleep. Life dims these traits when you live unconsciously, when you let fear dictate your decisions, when you allow distractions to control your focus. But on this night, the moon wakes them up, and once awakened, they do not return to sleep easily. You begin to walk differently, think differently, act differently. You begin to sense your own potential with clarity and certainty. This night becomes a silent initiation, not into something supernatural, but into maturity of spirit. You step into a version of yourself who is aware, grounded, disciplined, intuitive, and resilient. You become someone who no longer waits for perfect conditions. You create them. You no longer doubt the path. You walk it. You no longer fear your potential. You express it. The power of 5th December is that it reveals the truth. You have always had the qualities of a chosen one. You simply needed a moment of clarity to recognize them. And once recognized, they become impossible to ignore. This night marks the beginning of a new identity, one built on self-respect, self-trust, and self-mastery. This is the awakening you were meant to experience. This is the night your true nature steps forward. On the night of 5th December, life reveals something many people overlook, the moment when everything quietly begins to shift. These turning points do not arrive with noise. They arrive with clarity. They arrive in silence. They arrive when you are finally ready to see the truth that has been waiting for you. The full moon of 5th December acts like a spotlight shining directly on this moment, making it impossible to ignore. You begin to sense that you are standing at the edge of a new chapter, and the steps you take now will shape everything that comes next. This night teaches you that life changes the moment you change, not when the world rearranges itself for you, not when circumstances become convenient, but when your inner state transforms. On 5th December, you begin to feel this shift in your decisions, in your awareness, in the way you look at your future. You realize that you are no longer the person you were even a month ago. Something inside you has been preparing, strengthening, maturing. Now it is beginning to surface. A turning point is never about a single event. It is about a realization. A realization that you have outgrown who you used to be. On the night of 5th December, this truth becomes clear. You start noticing the gap between your old patterns and your new intentions. You see how your past habits conflict with the person you are becoming. It is in this contrast that your transformation reveals itself. The moonlight shines directly into this space, showing you that you cannot walk forward while holding on to backward ways of thinking. This night demands honesty, brutal honesty. You must look at your life without illusions. You must confront the decisions that kept you small. You must acknowledge the times you hesitated when you should have acted. You must recognize the moments when fear guided you instead of discipline. But this honesty is not punishment. It is power. When you see your truth clearly, you also see your potential clearly. And this is why 5th December becomes a turning point. It gives you the courage to stop avoiding your own reality. As you reflect under this full moon, you begin to understand that major life shifts are rarely dramatic on the outside. They happen internally first. They happen when your thoughts begin to align with your deeper purpose. They happen when your priorities change. They happen when you stop accepting what drains you and start choosing what strengthens you. This inner alignment is the real miracle of 5th December. Once your inner world shifts, your outer world follows. On this night, you also start to recognize signs, subtle but undeniable. You realize certain situations no longer feel right. Certain environments feel too small. Certain connections feel heavy. Certain dreams feel more urgent. These signs are not coincidences. They are signals that you are being prepared for a new direction. The 5th December moon amplifies these signals, so you cannot ignore them anymore. A turning point is not just a change in circumstances, it is a change in identity. You begin to see yourself differently. You start understanding your strength, your capacity, your potential with more clarity. You feel a confidence rising that comes not from pride, but from truth. On this night, you recognize that you are stepping into a version of yourself that is more aligned with your destiny than ever before. But every turning point also demands a choice. You cannot become someone new while acting like someone old. The energy of 5th December challenges you to choose growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, courage over fear. It is a night where excuses lose their power and responsibility becomes your path. Your future begins with the decisions you make tonight. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You must understand that life does not randomly choose moments like this. The timing is not accidental. 5th December arrives when the year is nearing its end, when reflection becomes natural, when your spirit becomes more open to truth. This night gives you a clear view of your journey, where you have been, where you stand, and where you must go. The full moon simply brings light to the inner shift that has already started. When you reach a turning point, you feel a mixture of discomfort and clarity. Discomfort because the familiar is fading. Clarity because the next step is becoming visible. This is growth. Growth is not smooth. Growth is not gentle. Growth is a breaking, a shedding, a reawakening. And on 5th December, this process accelerates. The parts of you that belong to an older version of your life begin to fall away naturally, not through force, but through awareness. As you stand in the energy of this night, you begin to realize the truth. You are not waiting for your destiny. Your destiny has been waiting for you to be ready, waiting for you to be aware, waiting for you to choose. The full moon of 5th December is not creating your turning point, it is revealing it. It is showing you the doorway that has been open all along. And once you see this doorway, you cannot go back to living unconsciously. Once you feel this shift, you cannot return to old habits. Once you recognize this moment, you cannot pretend it is ordinary. This is the moment where your next chapter begins, not with noise, but with clarity. Not with chaos, but with intention. On 5th December, life gives you a rare gift, the awareness that you are standing at a threshold. And when you step through it, you do not step into chance, you step into destiny. On the night of 5th December, something rare happens. Not outside you, inside you. The full moon casts a light that makes everything clearer, sharper, harder to deny. And in that clarity, you begin to understand the truth about miracles. They do not appear randomly. They appear when your inner world aligns with your outer actions. They appear when intention, discipline, and awareness move together as one. The miracle of 5th December is not a gift from the sky. It is a reflection of the alignment happening within you. Most of the time, people live in separation. They think one way, feel another way, act in a third direction, and wonder why life feels chaotic. They say they want change but repeat the same habits. They dream of growth but avoid the discomfort that growth requires. This split, this misalignment is what blocks progress. But on 5th December, the moon exposes the scattered pieces of your life and pulls them into one straight line. The line of alignment. That is where miracles begin. Alignment means your thoughts, actions, and energy finally match. You stop wishing for a better life while behaving like the old version of yourself. You stop wanting peace while holding on to chaos. You stop dreaming of confidence while feeding self-doubt. On 5th December, the moon forces you to see these contradictions. It shows you that miracles are not withheld from you. You have been withholding them from yourself through misalignment. The full moon on this night creates a moment of stillness where you can feel what is true. You begin to understand your intentions with more clarity. You see what you truly want, not what others expect, not what fear allows, but what your inner self has been quietly pulling you toward. When this intention becomes clear, your mind stops resisting. You stop running from your own purpose. You start moving toward it. But intention alone is not enough. Many have strong intentions but weak actions. On 5th December, the energy of the moon strengthens your discipline. And discipline is the bridge between desire and manifestation. It is the force that turns a dream into a path and a path into a destiny. Discipline is how miracles become real. When your actions finally match your intentions, your life stops moving in circles and starts moving forward. Then come energy, your inner state, your emotional and mental vibration. If your energy is scattered, negative, or heavy, even strong actions will not produce the results you seek. On this night, the full moon works like a purifier. It clears emotional dust. It clears confusion. It clears fear that has been sitting in the corners of your mind. When your energy rises, your path becomes smoother because your inner world stops fighting your outer efforts. The miracle of 5th December is the merging of these three forces: intention, action, energy. When they align, life begins to respond differently. Opportunities start appearing. People who match your growth begin to enter your life. Situations that once felt impossible suddenly feel within reach. This is not luck. This is alignment. And alignment creates flow. Flow is the state where the universe stops resisting you because you have stopped resisting yourself. You are no longer divided. You are no longer self-sabotaging. You are no longer moving with hesitation. On 5th December, when the moonlight reveals your truth, you step into this flow with more confidence. You begin to understand that the most powerful force in your life is your own alignment. Miracles occur when your behavior respects your destiny. They occur when your discipline respects your purpose. They occur when your mindset respects your potential. This night teaches you that miracles are not loud. They do not fall from the sky. They quietly unfold in your life when you make the choice to be consistent, clear, and courageous. On 5th December, the moon does not bring magic. It brings awareness. Awareness of the way you undermine yourself. Awareness of the habits that block your progress. Awareness of the moments you choose fear instead of strength. Once you see these clearly, you can no longer pretend you don't. And when awareness meets discipline, destiny becomes unavoidable. This night also teaches you another powerful truth. Alignment requires letting go. You cannot align with your higher self while holding on to the versions of you that were shaped by pain, fear, or survival. You must release what belongs to older chapters. On 5th December, the full moon exposes exactly what needs to be released. And when you let go, your intention becomes lighter. Your actions become cleaner. Your energy becomes sharper. This is how alignment deepens. As you stand in the energy of this night, something shifts in your spirit. You begin to feel that your life is no longer random. You feel guided. You feel directed. You feel connected to a path that is bigger than your doubts. The miracle is not an event. It is a transformation within you. You become someone who thinks with clarity, acts with discipline, and moves with purpose. This inner unity creates outer miracles. The full moon of 5th December reminds you of a simple, powerful truth. When you align with your purpose, life aligns with you. What once felt distant becomes reachable. What once felt confusing becomes obvious. What once felt blocked begins to open. Destiny does not reveal itself through force. It reveals itself through alignment. This is the miracle of 5th December, the night where your inner world lines up with the life you are meant to live. The night where you step out of resistance and into flow. The night where you stop hoping for miracles and start becoming the person who attracts them. On the night of 5th December, the full moon does something powerful. It does not change your life for you. It simply reveals the path you must walk. And that path is transformation. Real, inner transformation that cannot be faked, borrowed, or rushed. The light of this night exposes the truth of who you are becoming. It shows you clearly which parts of your life still belong to the past and which parts are ready to rise into your future. And if you are honest with yourself on 5th December, you will feel it. A pull, a calling, a demand for deeper change. Transformation is not about adding more to your life. Most people think they need more motivation, more time, more clarity, more resources. But the truth is the opposite. Transformation begins by removing what no longer belongs. On 5th December, the moonlight feels like a blade. It cuts through illusions. It cuts through excuses. It cuts through the false layers you have been using to protect old habits. It shows you what must leave so your true self can enter. You cannot transform while clinging to the version of yourself that is afraid. You cannot grow while holding tightly to patterns that keep you small. On the night of 5th December, life asks you a simple question through its silence. Are you willing to let go of who you were in order to become who you must be? This is the moment where many people hesitate, but hesitation is the enemy of transformation. The longer you hesitate, the more your past tightens its grip. To transform, you must step into discomfort willingly. You must turn toward the areas of your life you have avoided. You must face the habits that slow you down, the emotions you suppress, the stories you tell yourself that limit the path ahead. On 5th December, the full moon shines on these shadows. It does not expose them to shame you. It exposes them so you can release them. Because anything you refuse to face will control you. Anything you face directly will lose its power. Transformation requires honesty. Deep, unfiltered honesty. On this night, you are invited to look at yourself without distortion, to see the gap between who you are and who you want to be. That gap is not a punishment, it is a map. It shows you exactly where work is needed. And 5th December brings the clarity to see this map clearly. If you follow it, your entire path shifts. Transformation also requires discipline. It is easy to change your mood, your plans, your goals, but changing your life demands consistency. Every transformation is built on small, repeated actions. And on 5th December, you receive the strength to begin these actions without waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide. The full moon energy of this night supports decisive action. It supports commitment. It supports the version of you that no longer negotiates with your old limitations. Transformation requires forgiveness as well. Many people carry weight from the past that blocks their progress. Guilt, regret, resentment, they weaken your spirit. On 5th December, the moonlight is soft but powerful. It invites you to release this weight, to forgive yourself for not knowing better before, to forgive others for not being who you expected them to be. Forgiveness is not about accepting what happened. It is about freeing your energy for what can happen next. When you forgive, your inner world becomes light enough to rise. And transformation requires patience. Many want instant results. They want change to happen overnight. But real transformation is like refining steel. It takes heat, pressure, time, and repetition. On 5th December, the full moon reminds you that transformation is not a single event, it is a continuous unfolding. Every day you make a choice. Every day you take a step. Every day you remove one layer that does not belong. And slowly, the person you are meant to be emerges. The most powerful transformation is internal. It happens quietly before anyone else notices. Your thinking shifts. Your discipline sharpens. Your energy lifts. Your boundaries strengthen. You start choosing what aligns with your purpose instead of what feeds your comfort. And on 5th December, you feel this shift as if something inside you clicks into place. It is not dramatic on the outside, but internally, it is a revolution. Transformation is also about vision. You must know where you are going, or at least know the direction. On 5th December, the moonlight expands your perception. You begin to see possibilities that your old self could not see. You sense potential that you once doubted. When your vision expands, your life begins to follow because you can only rise as high as you can imagine. The night of 5th December carries a message. You are not meant to stay the same. You are not meant to repeat old cycles. You are not meant to live in patterns that drain your spirit. Transformation calls you forward because your destiny cannot be reached with your past identity. To step into your destiny, you must outgrow who you are today. And so, on 5th December, the full moon offers an invitation, a doorway, a chance to transform your fears into strength, your doubt into clarity, your habits into discipline, your pain into wisdom. But the decision is yours. The moon can show the path, but only you can walk it. Transformation is the miracle. And 5th December is the night that reminds you that you are capable of becoming far more than you have allowed yourself to believe.